Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. And you guys, I'm so excited. Yes, I got this dope young man I want to tell y'all all about, but y'all know how I do if you've been hanging with me. Before we get started, I always tell you a few things that's associated with the person that I have today. So one, he's born in Salt Lake City, but he was raised in Vegas. So Vegas up, yay, Vegas, yes. In addition to that, he's an entrepreneur, and we'll find out more about that during our discussion. But last but not least, he has a relationship with God, and we'll also find out more about that. So you guys, please put your hands together and welcome my friend, Marques Price. What's happening, Marques?
What's going on? It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, anybody that comes onto my platform, I'm so thankful, and I just appreciate that. I am richer. I have more abundance because you said yes, and I get to learn about you. So let's do this.
Let's do it. That's what I'm here for, to support you. Anything I can do to provide and, contribute to the cause, I'm all here. I'm all here.
I love it. I love it. So one thing I always ask my guests, I say, what makes you tick? What makes you bored? What gets you up in the morning?
Just maybe like success. Not just family, of course, God, but family, but just trying to be something better, trying to outdo the man that I was the day before, so that's kind of like one of my driving inspirations is my daughter or God, and just to, be a better person and probably give something back positive to the world. I was taught like each one teach one. So if I could wake up and be my best self and inspire the next person to maybe not resemble me, but, give him inspiration to be his best self, I feel like that's what it's all about.
I love it. Great response. I like that you said maybe resemble me, but don't be exactly like me, but give that inspiration, give that energy for it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I feel like that's what it's about. We're all individuals, so be you. But
I like that. I definitely like that. So, when I talked to you or I introduced you at the very beginning, I talked about you being born in Salt Lake, Utah. And I hope I said it right at the beginning. But you were raised in okay, but you were raised in Vegas. Can you tell me about the transition that you came from Salt Lake, Utah to Vegas? What was that transition like for you?
So growing up in Salt Lake City, so our whole mom's side of the family is in Salt Lake City, and we're all very close and everything. But it was a little different because out there, it wasn't really poverty stricken, but we didn't have too much. My mom would always, she's a single mom. She had 4 kids, so we'd always get dropped off at family members' house, and then it was just watching my mom kind of try to do it all and be this strong Black woman, So that's something that I do admire about her. But just growing up out there, it was fun. I was a kid, so I didn't look at it no different. But growing up with not too much out there, but I still appreciated everything, to transition into Vegas, where now we're in a bigger house. Now I have a stepdad, and then they have a joint income. So it was a big transition, because when we moved to our house, it was a 2-story house, but the staircase kind of wrapped around like this and went upstairs. And I used to watch the little movies growing up where the mansions where the staircase would spiral and would go up. And I just had a little 180 U-turn, and I was like, Mom, we're rich. We made it, So that was exciting. But then getting accustomed to Vegas, that was a little transition in itself too as well, because it's 24 hours. You learn fast, you catch on fast, you grow up fast. So that was a big difference. And then I had no family out there, so I had to just rely on me, my brothers, and it's my family. You could basically say my immediate family.
So how did you learn to navigate this new culture? What was it that you were able to hold on to make sure you felt like you were at home in Vegas? And what age did you transition here?
So I came to Vegas around 7 years old. And then kind of, I guess what kept me grounded was just family, no matter, because I didn't have cousins, I didn't have nobody else. All I had was family, and we all we had. So, we always, once feeling down, we always built each other up because we're all close, So, and then, but my stepdad, his whole side of the family is in Vegas, West Las Vegas. So, just getting around some of his family, it kind of made me feel a little more comfortable, a little more touch of comfort, more home-ish, you know. So that was a big help, you know. So but we all just stuck together, you know, through the ups and downs, you know, not knowing nobody to knowing everybody. Um, it was a transition, but you know, family. We all kept each other close, had each other's back, and then you know, just trying to stay positive through all the you know trials and tribulations.
So at this point, right now, today, how you feel about Vegas?
It's home. I love it. You know, there's a lot of ups and downs, good and bad with it, you know, but it's home, you know, and I feel like it's what you make it, you know, because there's always going to be this path and this path, no matter what city you're in, you know, good, bad, whatever. It's just what you decide to make out of it, you know. So, of course, I can go the bad route, not saying I have it in my past, but now as a grown man, knowing everything I know now, it's beautiful. It's just what side you want to go, you know, where you want to take it.
Yeah.
Because it's a
So
lot of
you,
opportunities out there, and it's just like it's a lot of BS, you know, but it's just where you want to go, who you want to be, who you surround yourself with, because that's who you're going to be at the end of the day, you know.
yeah, you brought up a good point. Who you surround yourself with. I always say, whatever you do frequently becomes your frequency. So
I love that. I love that.
you can share it anytime you want to, but that also incorporates who do you have in your circle and what their frequency is. And then if it's all of you guys together and you're doing the same thing and you have the same high frequency, then you're elevating. So
Most definitely. I love that. I love it.
so
Keep talking to me. Keep talking to me.
so let's talk about music. Music has turned me all the way out in a
I
good
love it
way. In a good way.
for sure.
So I typically ask my guests to tell me about a lyric of a song that has
Okay.
either blessed them, has given them perspective in life, or blessed them, given perspective in life. Oh, my mind went blank for a second. Bless or given perspective or life, or bless perspective. Ooh, we'll go with bless or perspective right now.
Okay. So, well, one of my favorite artists is rest in peace Nipsey Hussle, and I liked him way before. Like I guess people when he died, he blew up or whatever. But just because I would watch his interviews and he was so intellectual and just the knowledge he gave back though. But and there's like I said because he has so many profound lyric songs. So it's too many to name. But one thing that it's a lot of them. But one thing that kind of stuck out for me though was it might not be that deep to others, but for me he said circle got smaller, everybody can't go. So and I took that because you know first I taught teaching myself Spanish or whatever, and then knowing what it takes to start from the beginning to the very end of the process, you know, and everything you have to go through to get there. And I look back at the end to the beginning. Now I'm giving the same book that I learned that taught me fluent Spanish to the next person who wants to learn, right? So and everybody because they see me talking Spanish now to other races. Now they think it's dope, so now they want to learn. Okay, so now I give him the same book, and then what I realized, I had multiple people. I'll give them the book. They'll start for a week, sometimes 3 days, sometimes 2 weeks at the longest I ever seen somebody go. And then they fall off. They get distracted by whatever else is they're doing. So that's one thing I realized. Everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody has a perceived end, or just like an end destination of they see where themselves, where they want to be, whatever, no matter what it is. But so everybody wants it, but nobody wants to put in the blood, sweat, and tears. Nobody wants to put in the work, the dedication, the sacrifice. Instead of going out playing basketball, hanging with friends or girls, you might have to be in the gym. You might have to be studying. You might have to be over here shooting 1,000 jump shots, catching 1,000 passes. But nobody wants to do that. But they want to be great though. They see the person at the end in the end zone catching a one-handed pass and think, you know that they're lucky or no. This person was every day after practice for hours catching this one-handed pass every day that you see them do in the game. But so when he said circle got smaller, everybody can't go, I realized I might have what it takes, and I'm no better than nobody else, but I might put in the work, dedication. But the next person who wants to go, and they might even hold me back. They're not going to do what I'm going to do. They're not going to wake up and put in the amount of work that I'm going to put in. So I want to take you, but if you're going to hold me back, we're not on the same mental frequency of a like mind. You can't go with me. And it's all love, and I'll take you if we're willing to put in work. We can bounce ideas off each other and grow. But if we're not on the same page, I'll be going this way. I love you. If you want to come, I'll help you. I'll give you the tools. You can't keep up. I love you. God bless you, but this is where I got to go.
I think what you're saying is so important. This is for anybody that's listening. It's so many times we want to take people with us, but they're not willing to take the sacrifice. And because of that, we have to move on. It may not be in their time. They have to decide on their own time when it's time for them to do. Like you said, they're not willing to get up in the morning. They're not willing to do any of those things. And they see at the end of the tunnel these great things that these people have done, but they don't realize the sacrifice that went with it. So you're talking to somebody right now that's in your space, that's elevating forward, and they have somebody that's just kind of holding on to them. Sometimes we got to drop what I call is dead weight, and it's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And shout out to Nipsey Hussle. He's a Leo like me, so we send him good energy up. I love that, and you are the first person that actually brought him up on here. So big ups to you.
I love it. I appreciate it.
So let's get back into the seat where at the very beginning I introduced you and I talked about entrepreneur. Let's talk about your journey and what you do. I know two things. I'll bring up two things: barber and tattooing. You give me what you want to know, what you want us to know about that journey.
Okay, so and they kind of both coincide with each other. And so I'm not afraid of my past because it made me who I am today, and it ultimately made me a better person despite my circumstances. So, as a youth, I kind of got involved. Like I said, this past, I kind of got involved in, things I shouldn't have. So, long story short, I ended up being sentenced to 7 years in the penitentiary. And growing up, I would always like draw as a little kid, and then I eventually got older, got distracted, and I put down the pencil and picked up some other bad habits. But when I did eventually get locked up and sentenced, and now it's no going home. This is what I have to do. One of my passions that I realized since a little kid was drawing. So I started drawing every day, and then I look back now at the beginning when I started, I'm like, damn, I wasn't that good, but nobody could tell me different when I first started. But so, I started developing my craft, working at it. And then I started getting a little better. And then people was like, Marques, you should tattoo. Like, why aren't you tattooing? And, but I did know at the same time, like in that environment, tattooing, that could potentially lead me not to come home on my designated date. So I was always skeptical, a little nervous, scared. So I wouldn't do it, but I always continue to draw though. But one day, one of my cellmates, aka Cellies, he wanted to tattoo himself, and he couldn't draw at all. But he went to go grab all the materials, had everything ready, the ink and everything. And then I'm like, you know what, bro, let me just do it. I mean, you're probably gonna mess yourself up worse than I'll mess you up. So it's a win-win, So that night I started my very first tattoo on his leg. It was just a name. And then it was kind of discouraging at first because it's different from a pencil. The tattoo gun is like shaking, vibrating. So you have to have a steady hand. So I went from that to actually starting a tattoo, actually start maybe getting a little bit of commentary, aka like food to eat in there while I was tattooing, to me being out here on the streets and actually making a career out of it. And what the barber comes in too, because when I got locked up, I had the little cheap trimmer that they give us, and I would line myself up and give myself a little fade or taper, and people would see it and then they kind of inquired about it, like, how much do you charge? Bro, just give me a honey bun and I'll put you in the game, So, and then that kind of led to me cutting all the time to me becoming the barber for the whole entire facility. As far as, so when I was locked up, yes, ma'am. But so the thing is, there's like politics out on the West Coast. I don't know too many different states, but I know California, Vegas, they have them. So I can only cut black. I can't cut the whites, the other Latinos, because it'll go against what their beliefs is. Beliefs is just in the system or politics. But that ultimately led to me cutting hair for the whole facility. So if you're black, you have to come to me. And then
wait, excuse me. You're talking about when you were locked up, if I can get clarification. You could only cut the men that look like you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hair. You couldn't cut a Caucasian man hair.
No, ma'am.
Wow.
But this is kind of where it gets tricky. So now people will come into the little barbershop, and this is a different race. you know, and then they'd be like, talk to me like, look, one of their people is going to have watch out. He's like, look, hurry up and cut his hair. Because I was good. I started getting real good. So, and then their barber, he was messing everybody up, you know, and then you got to think you got like visits. So your girl might come up there, or you might want to go take a picture to send to your girl, your mom, whoever. So I had a race. It made me laugh because a different race came to me, and it's a Latino person. He had the other friend look out just to make sure nobody else was coming. We closed the blinds in the barbershop, and I gave him a cut real quick, and then he paid me double, almost triple. And I was able to make him feel like himself. And, you know, when you're in them type of circumstances, you kind of lose your self-esteem, your value, who you are as a person. And we don't even really have mirrors in there. So it's kind of easy to forget who you are as a person. But to look, when he saw himself in my little mirror like this big, just how I was able to transform him from when he came in, I felt like $1 million, and I didn't even really do nothing but make him feel like $1 million. And that gave me all the life in the world, you know?
Yes, that is so dope. First of all, I had no idea about inside prison politics, about only you can cut certain people, but the mere fact that they saw your talent, they saw what you were able to offer, and they was willing to sacrifice their self and get in trouble to have you cut their hair, and then for you to say the outcome, he probably was like, I'm so fresh, I'm so dope.
Sure.
You probably took
Sure.
his energy up to the next level just by doing that.
Yes, ma'am. And I feel like that's what it's about. You know, he felt better than he did before he walked in. And I feel like that I did my job, you know?
Yes. I love that. So what's your game plan to actually, because you do it now, correct? You do tattooing and cutting hair, but your long-term goal, if I may say, is for you to have a actual facility, correct?
Yeah, so I kind of want to combine both of them. And especially in Vegas, I seen barbershops, I seen tattoo shops, but I want to take the barber and tattoo shop and combine them into one. So I have a tattoo barbershop. And that's kind of like the end goal. Of course, other side things I want to do to incorporate bouncing off of these, but it's a health hazard. So you have to have a wall in between both of them. So, you know, I'll put up a wall, a little door entryway, you know, to get in between this side and this side, but I want to combine them and have a tattoo barbershop.
I like that. I've never heard that or seen that. And you're doing your homework. You say, oh, it's a health hazard, so I have to have a wall. I wouldn't know that.
Yes,
So
yes,
I think I'm the student today. You're teaching me.
for sure.
But I love that you're able to give a perspective. So when I talk about perspective, let's go back to you actually being sentenced to prison and how it's changed your perspective to have that goal to do things. You were locked up for 7 years. 7 is my favorite number, but 7 also means completion. And that 7, I believe, completed you and took you to another step to look at life in a different perspective. So can you talk about your passion for life, how you had this time to have some introspective and think about things that us on the outside we take it for granted?
For sure. So when I first got sentenced, because I I don't know if I'm wrong for this, but I know everything happens for a reason. But when I first got locked up, one of the numbers that they threw at me was 23 to 70 years. So that like shook me to my core. So and then one thing I did know, like I wanted to get close with God, maybe because if you're up there, and I know He was though, but maybe you can help me, maybe you can get me through this. So I got close to God, and then and you know just be prior to getting sentencing. But when I did get sentenced and they gave me 7 years, I kind of was I was a little mad at God, like, you don't love me, like why all this time? And I have friends who did way worse, and they are out on the streets having fun, but I never understood it till the very end. You know, once I seen everything that I've accomplished, what I've learned, just the amount of books that I read, how many people's lives I was able to touch. But so I don't understand it. But at the end of the journey, I thank God. But you know, only because I learned a lot, but I seen because it could either turn you to this, make you a monster, or it can make you a better person depending on how you use it. And I just seen everything you can see in prison, like, you know, death, riots. I've been in riots, seen people shot, stabbed, everything, you know. And it kind of ultimately led to like it's either this or this, you know. So I would always just watch friends leave, come back again, leave, they come back again, and I'm like, bro, what's going on? Like, you don't want it? Like, give me your shoes. And take advantage because I see so many people in the outside world just, from the inside looking out, like they don't want it. So much opportunity, so many things that you can accomplish. It's so many possibilities that somebody in my position, and I know people that are never coming home, that would die to have, that would kill to have, take cut off a limb to have, So, and I would always have people like lifers. It might sound crazy, but some of them that I have met are one of the best people I ever met. Of course, they were young, but they would always give me, like, they'll live through me like young black man, young brother, like go out there, take advantage, do it for me. Like I'm never coming home. I can never see my family, go out there, be successful. They'll even sit down with me. We'll discuss business ideas and how I can prosper. And all they want is just a picture, me cutting a red tape, opening up a business or just whatever I want to do, just be the greatest. So I've seen a lot of people take that for granted. And I used to be so anxious, like, when is it going to be my time? When is it going to be my time? Of course, spending calendar after calendar for 7 years, and now it's finally here. So now I don't want to sleep. I want 3 jobs, 4 jobs. I want 10, whatever I have to do just to be successful, And that's one thing that I am grateful for, that I have had the time to take them introspective glances to see not just who I am, where I've been through, but more importantly, where I want to go and who I want to become. And it's not even about my journey. It's about me getting there and how I could give back to the next person so he can go where I'm at, or get further, or, give it back to the next person once he gets there.
Yes, yes. I love that. I love that you're giving perspective. But with that perspective, your dad, and can you talk about your relationship with your daughter and how important it is because you were locked up during those 7 years? How did you keep the communication going? What was some of the steps you did to ensure that she didn't forget you?
So this is the thing. So my daughter was born when I was in county. I met her, I want to say, like 6, 7 months ago. But the last time I talked to her was when she was 2 years old. And the only thing she could say was, "Oh, wow." But my dad left when I was 2. So I know what it's like to not have a dad there. Just, mom, she working, you waking up, same clothes, going outside. But then to have a stepdad, he kind of provided a different perspective of a father figure. But now transitioning to my daughter now, and I know what it's like to not have none of that. And then, but it's crazy because my drive in prison, what kept me like going, what kept me out of trouble, and they didn't even know this. The mother of my child, my daughter, they didn't even know was my daughter. Like making it home to her, making sure that she has me there. So there's situations where I could have got life, I could have never came home. But of course, God, but also the thought of just my daughter never seeing me, or just her looking up to somebody else calling him dad, that he leaves, and she just going through whatever it is that I went through. That was always my driving force, and I would always draw everything in the world. That kept me going. Like I would draw portraits of her. I'm drawing anything in the world just so I can send to her, just to kind of make my presence be felt somehow. Even if I am 1,000 miles away, I might be able to send this drawing and a poem and send a little teddy bear through the mail, and maybe make it feel like I'm there, or just show you a piece of me that you haven't met yet, that I love you no matter conditions, rain, hail, sleet, snow, whatever. I will do whatever for you, and I'm going to be there one day. But this is just a little touch of me, just to show you I love you. So that kind of kept me going. That was my drive, my inspiration to stay out of trouble, just to make her feel like she has a dad, that he does love her. And now that I got out, my first thing I did was get into her life, and now she can't stay away from me. I try to leave, she hangs onto my leg and makes me walk with her on my leg.
I love that. I love that. And I feel like you're talking to a young man that may be locked up, or not necessarily locked up. Say they're overseas, or they have to take a job where they're right next door to a neighboring city, and they don't have the opportunity to be there physically. You just displayed some things that you kept to make sure there's a connection. You draw, you send letters, whatever the case may be. So I want, and this is for men and women both. Sometimes we are not where we want to be, but what are you doing to ensure that we have a connection, that our frequency is within alignment? And like you said, now she don't want you to leave. And I know sometimes you don't want to leave her, right?
I know. And it's sad though, because I'm in Vegas, she's in Cali, but any chance I can get, I'm coming out here just to see her, whatever I could do.
I love that. I love that. And can you I don't know if it's appropriate. Can you say her name and give her a shout out, or do you think her mother would not like?
Oh no, she's all for it. So my daughter's name is Genesis, and if you're watching, I love you. No matter anything you need, I'm here for you all across oceans, just to be in your life, just to even if it is just to bring you a coat or a dollar for lunch, dinner, whatever. I'm here for you. I love you, and no matter what happens, you're always gonna have a dad.
I love that. I love that. That is so important. The love, especially little girls need to know that their dad loves them, because you're the first love relationship that they have with a male. And you're setting an example for her to be able to navigate this world and know my daddy loves me. If you can't give me, not saying the same thing like a daddy, but an example of that, then she can keep
Sure.
moving on, and we can have less women that have their heart hurt. We're all going to go through it, but
Right.
it's good to have a foundation for it. So that what you just did is a foundation for her to understand her daddy loves her no matter what.
For sure. That's something I try to tell her all the time. Like, hold the door for her mom. I try to give her everything she wants, but also teach her, like, if she messes up, I'm there to correct you too, though. I'm no better than you, but at the same time, I just want to give you lessons that you can take with you. So, you have a better chance at whatever it is you want to do.
I think that's necessary too. Correction. So she knows if you do it now, when she get out in this real world, correction is you're going to jail, or you're dead, or you're in an energy zone that you don't need to be in. So if we do it while we have them under our foundation while they're young, it will benefit them later.
For sure.
Yes. So let's get back into music.
Let's do it.
So can you identify a lyric of a song that you sung as a child, and then you became adult and you're like, wait 1 minute, that's not what I thought it said.
So, well, when I was a little kid, I loved the song. It was by Nas. It was I Know I Can. And I didn't even know like what I was singing. I just liked the song, the video. But as I got older, those words, like what he said, I know I can be what I want to be if I work hard at it. I could be what I want to be. Some along the lines, though. And then he got into the verse and everything. But like I just liked the song. It was just catchy. But as I got older and I heard the words, I'm like, that was like very impactful, very deep for me. That to be my favorite song. And then now to actually incorporate that and put that into motion, and it's nothing but the truth. I feel like words hold power, a lot of power. They can create your whole future, especially with repetition and belief and desire. You can create anything you want, though. If you put your mind to it, you can be whoever you want to be. And as a kid, I was singing that, not paying attention, like whatever, boom. Then I went to the next favorite song. But as I got older, I realized that was my favorite song, the video and everything. And now it's kind of like a testimony to my beliefs as a grown man, and what I could give back to the next person as far as like a testimony. Like, if you think it, you dream it, and you visualize it and put in the work and feel the desire before you have it, eventually it will have no choice but to materialize. And
Yes. You're talking some good
stuff.
You're talking some good stuff. I love it. And I love that song by Nas too. He gave examples, if I may say. I remember he talked about a woman that was on drugs and she looked corroded and everything. And he was trying to get, or girls that want to be grown too early in that song. He gave so many nuggets, but it was an elevation song, but it was dope.
For sure.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes. I love that another one. You're the first person that mentioned Nas. So you keep having these first, Marques.
I appreciate it.
I love it. So let's talk about you speaking Spanish. If I may say, I met you originally. We were celebrating my cousin's birthday, and you happened to be our service person or our waiter for the table. And we all engaged in conversation, and you were just so dope. And it's 5 different women, and we grown women, so we have our own perspective. And all of us was like, yeah, we were so engaged in conversation. And one of the things you talked about it at the very beginning, how you were able to speak Spanish. And I jokingly said, you can't speak Spanish, so you call your coworker over and you start engaging in Spanish. And I was like, Young man.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
tell me, what was the first impetus for you to say, I want to learn it? I know you spoke about the book, you talked about
Yeah.
how you try to encourage people, but I want to know your story with being speaking Spanish fluently.
Okay. So, like my aunt, like right before I got out, she passed away 3 months before, unfortunately. And this was like my favorite aunt. I read my first book with her because she took me to the library, and it was Tupac, his little poem book, but the rose that grew from a concrete. But back on track. So I used to talk to her when I was on the phone when I was incarcerated, and I don't know so much if it was me just talking, but I always want the best for myself. But I told her one day, I want to learn Spanish. I told her a couple things that I do want to do, and I don't know if I was just talking, but at the time, I let it pass by a couple months, go by. And the next thing you know, they called me to the property room. I'm like, dang, what did I do? What they take? I didn't know. And then basically I had a book in my name. I'm like, what book is it? And they handed it to me and it said Spanish for Dummies. And it had a Spanish and English dictionary with the CD in the back. I couldn't listen to the CD because we didn't have the materials to play the CD, but I had the book in the dictionary and I felt like I was excited. I was like, whoa, I was just talking. And she really, put some effort behind my words, put some substance behind it. So she sent me the book. And then, so where I was locked up is hallway. So, it's 34 doors, 2 people a cell. So 68 people in one hallway. You can't come out unless they open the gate. And the COs, the police are outside the gate. So whatever happens, it's going to happen. You can't stop it. But long story short, me opening that book, I felt like, for one, I love to learn, but it gave me a purpose, and they kind of, especially reading it a couple of days, it took me out of the hallway. Like now, I don't want to be in the hallway because they tell war stories. They're out there gambling. It's so much stuff that goes on out there that this book and actually reading every day and actually having some type of dedication. And once you learn it, and you start to learn a couple words, start to learn a couple sentences, it actually becomes fun and you want to do it, and you actually develop a love for it, not only just me for that book, but for the language, but also for the culture, So I found that taking me out of prison, taking me away from certain people, certain individuals, certain circumstances. Because now instead of being out there with people, not really with thugs, but certain individuals, shirt off, shooting dice, gambling, playing poker, or just playing spades, laughing, not doing nothing. I actually allocated my time. So now I'm in the cell all the time with my notepad, my book, dictionary. Now I'm learning words. I'm asking people how to say this or the other Latinos. Am I saying this right? And now I'm studying all day. So eventually, but there were times though, where because I found another black individual. He was learning Spanish as well. He was a little more advanced, but now I found somebody that we could ping pong ideas with. We could teach each other. All right, how do I'll take the book, I quiz him, he does vice versa. But there was a time when we went to a Latino cell, and they're speaking all Spanish. And I'm like, the Despacio kind of like slow down. But then they slow down, but I didn't catch a word. And that was the most discouraging thing that happened. It kind of almost made me want to give up. Like, man, I'm never going to learn this. I'll never get to where he's at. But then there's also times where now I'm studying in the cell. I hear Latinos outside of the cell just in the hallway speaking. And I understood like 4 or 5, 6 words out of like 11 word sentence, and I knew what they said. And that gave me so much inspiration. Like, whoa, I'm actually starting to get good. Like, I got this. I think I can do this, Kind of towards the end, where now it's like I'm fluent now because I didn't went through all the steps, all the phases, the ups and downs, the triumph, and then not only that, I submerged myself. So I had a TV. It stayed on the Spanish channel all day. I didn't even understand what they're saying, but I'm not watching nothing else but the Spanish channel. And I had the subtitles on in English. Then I switched it to Spanish because I could, at a point of time, I could read it better than I could speak it or understand it because I'm learning from a book. So I submerged myself with the language. I'm watching all the Spanish soap operas. I know all of them. I'm watching the news in Spanish, everything. And that started teaching me how to say different things, put things together. And then ultimately to the end where I'm fluent. Now I have a book and I want to put it in your hands. Let's see what you do with it.
Wow. I know you're telling the truth. I have some friends from Mexico, from El Salvador. I go sometime to the Spanish or the market, and I remember running into a guy and his English was so fluent. And I was like, wow. He was like, no, my English not good. I said, no, it is. It's great. And I told him that my lifelong goal is to learn how to speak Spanish.
Right.
And he told me, he said the first thing to do is to turn on the TV and listen all day long. And he said, over time, you will begin to pick that up. So I feel like that was a catalyst for you to say that, to remind me so I can turn it on and start to listen. I know poquito Spanish right now. But I want to learn that, and I love it. Was so amazing to see you engaging with him in Spanish, and you were so ease in how you did it. So you say a word to our brothers, Latino brothers and sisters, something so the audience can see how smooth you are when you talk in Spanish, and I'll try to find something to translate that so they'll know.
Okay, si quieres aprender cualquier cosa en este mundo, todo quieres hacer es aprender, poner el trabajo y hacer lo que quieres. And todo es posible si quieres hacer cualquier cosa en este mundo. Leer, hacer ¿cómo se dice? Like a professional athlete, podrías hacerlo. Solo tienes que, solo tienes que hacer es trabajar duro. Todo el tiempo.
Wow. Wow. Now, can you do a little interpretation for the ones that don't speak Spanish, what you said in Spanish?
I basically said, like, no matter what you want to do in this world, like, you can do it. All you have to do, and I said, no matter what you want to do, I said, you can do it, whether it's a professional athlete, whatever. All you have to do is work hard, put in the work, and you can do it.
Yes, yes. And, you know, I want to change the narrative that you spoke of, I speak of often. Hard work has to start first with your mindset. A lot of times people think if they go and just do the hard work, but if their mindset reverts back to, oh, I'm not going to accomplish this, or I don't have the time, or I don't know what I'm doing, that negates all the work that you put in. So we got to take our mind and get it focused with the alignment of the work that we need to do.
Well, definitely. And I heard it's a quote or a saying that I like to live by, that kind of what you said, though I'm not good at it or whatever, but they said you don't have to be great to get started. No, yeah, you don't have to be great to get started, but to be great, you have to get started.
No, you hit the nail on the.
You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
Yes, that's a bar. That's a word right there. Say that one more time and say it slowly for the people in the back that didn't hear you.
You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
Woo! Yes, I love that. I definitely love that. Marques, can you tell me a song or a lyric or artist that you were able to purchase on your own without anybody's influence? Whether you made some money from, you know, helping somebody out, or birthday or Christmas, and you like, I get to purchase whatever I want on my own. Can you identify a song?
Yes, actually the very first one though, I bought, because mind you, we got all these platforms where you could just download it, just go to YouTube. But I was watching an Instagram video, Facebook, one of the social media platforms, but he was a guy, he was sitting at a table and he had like he had a keyboard, microphone, some headphones for the opposite person that I'll speak about in a minute. And so he was just sitting there, and obviously I guess he had to be some type of musician, but he had a sign on the seat and it said, if you're having a bad day, sit here. And then so a couple people walked by, and then mind you, so another man, after the couple people that walked by, he walks by, reads the sign, and he sits down. And when he sits down, obviously the guy narrating the situation, you know, this person's having a bad day. So he told the guy to put the headphones on. And then when he put the headphones on, he started playing the little piano / keyboard, and then he started singing. And then I heard the song that he was singing, and it just was able to transform this person's whole mood, spirit, day, and it made him so the complete opposite of what he sat down as, you know. And then after he took off the headphones, he's like, "Man, thank you, I love you, I needed that." You see, he was just so full of life. And the song was "Good Day" by Forrest Frank, and I'm open to all genres of music. And then so this was a white man, and he has the voice of an angel, speak the most positive messages, and I think he might be kind of like a gospel singer, or he just speaks about God a lot in some of his songs. But it was Forrest Frank it was like "Good Day," and I heard it, and it just speaks so much life in the song. And that was one of my first ones that I have purchased on my own, just because of what I've seen, how it transforms the day. And then not only that, if I wake up kind of not in the best mood, I'll play that song, and you know, if happiness is a choice. So, and then hearing that song, it makes you want to be happy. So that's one of the first ones that I did purchase on my own.
Oh, I love that. And I love the story that you told. It ties in to what I believe about music. Music is no set point. What you like is what you like, but what does it do for your spirit? What does it do for your soul? Does it lift you up? And in every kind of mode you may have or energy, it's a song available for it. So I love that.
Sure.
And thank you for sharing that. That's so awesome.
Yes,
so
yes.
When we talk about music and we talk about the different levels of music, let's talk about a particular song that you had to use to pull your spirit up, meaning we all go through our ups and downs. I don't care who's on this earth, we all have our time. But was there a particular song when your spirit was low and needed to be picked up that you tapped in and you was like, okay, I'm there. It pulled me up.
Yes, man. Because, you know, we all go through things in life, trials, tribulations, ups and downs. And then, you know, in the midst of all of those feelings, especially the downs, ever since I was a kid, it was always the song "Good Life" by Kanye West. Only because, like, you know, he speaks about a good life. You know, people. One of the things too that he said though, he said, "You pop the trunk, I pop the hood," aka like you're popping the trunk to go maybe hurt people, promote violence, or do whatever you got to do in this lane. But I'm gonna pop my hood, and you can see the engine, the V12. I might vroom just so you can see. You know, it's a better life though. You know, I'm like spreading inspiration, elevation. You could get this too. So I'm gonna go right off of my brand new car, enjoying life, loving every minute of it, while you over here ruining lives, causing nothing but strife, trauma, everything. I'm gonna go this way, you know. So that was that song could always lift me up if I'm down in anything. I'll play that song and I'll just get happy. I don't know why, but that's what it does.
I love that. I love that. And you're giving it to someone that they're going to go tap in. They may have forgot about the song or they never heard the song and they're going to tap in and use it and say, you know what? It made me feel good too.
Man, that's my go-to. That's my go-to.
I like that. I definitely like that. So before we get out of here, I have one last question for you, and it's about high elevation. I believe in high energy, high elevation songs. Even though you told me that that pulls your energy up, I'm going somewhere with this particular song. So, you know, when you hear people go, "Happy birthday to you," and typically you got a whole group of people, you work in that industry, they just jumping in, they're wishing you happy birthday. And before you know it, you've gained relationships or connections or people wishing you happy birthday. But the whole point, it's a crowd participation song. You have a crowd participating, or you have watched a crowd participate, and both of them have given you high elevation. Can you identify a song that makes you feel that way, that you either participated in or you saw a group do it?
Okay, so now I don't know about the method of this song, but it's just the chorus in that moment. So before I did get incarcerated, I was playing college football. And so we just won conference champions. And so now we just have to win one more game. We go to the state championship. But so one of the songs that in that moment, so we just won conference champions. Now we're in the locker room. Everybody's all hyped, turned up, happy. So I guess two of the players bought bottles of champagne. We didn't even drink it, but we just popped the top and then start throwing it everywhere. And all the players were all jumping up and down. But one of the songs that was playing in the background was Lil Wayne and Birdman. I think it was called Pop Bottles. And then it was like one of the it was basically in accordance to what we just did, popping champagne like we won a championship ring, but like we kind of translate that to football, and we were just champagne everywhere. It was a good time, and then just that song in that moment, like, yeah, I don't know, it was just life in that moment. I felt like we were untouchable at the height and the peak of our childhood, So that was like one of the songs that really, like, in a group effort in that type of environment, like, had us feeling on top of the world.
So everybody was hyped.
Everybody jumping up and down. Even though we lost the next game, we probably should have celebrated when we won the championship. But I felt like we won the championship in that moment. Just how happy we were, energetic. Everybody's jumping up and down. Champagne's going everywhere. Lil Wayne playing in the background. So that was a moment that I'll never forget.
That's dope. Well, you know what, Mr. Marques Price, I've had an amazing time talking to you. I thank you for being transparent on all aspects of your life. I thank you for giving us a little bit of the Spanish language, which I love.
I got a little nervous, so I was, mixing up the words, but, I held my own,
Yes. Listen, you did the thing, but not only that, to show the love for your daughter and just your journey, your process, and your mindset. I think that's really important. I want to push mindset. Remember, I said again, whatever you do frequently becomes your frequency. And I feel like you're on the right path, and I want you to continue on the right path. But before we get out of here, I always give my guests the opportunity to talk about any upcoming events, any social media handles, anything. If someone wants to reach out to you, they saw this video, they're like, that man is dope. I want to pair up with him, or I just want to come get a haircut, or I want to get a tattoo, whatever. Is this some way that people can get in contact with you, or?
Yes, ma'am. So I have an Instagram. I have a couple of them for my tattoo page, barber page, my main page, but they're all connected. Don't get mad at the name because it has a little cuss word in it. But no.
Listen, I keep it real. I cuss when I have to. So do what you got to do.
So my Instagram is inked ass keys. Part of my language. That's INKEDASSKEES. And then you can reach all my platforms. My tattoo page is Da Vinci Ink. Da Vinci with 2 eyes. _ink. And then tattoo page Trim God. My barber page Trim God, but you can follow my main page. Everything's right there though. But I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. Shout out to anybody who wants to be successful and who's willing to put in the work, and willing to take it as far as your mind will let you, because the only limitations that you have are the ones that you impose in your mind. So if you're thinking you can achieve it, and I wish success on everybody, but put in the work. Let's all meet at the top and be great.
I love that. Well, before we get out of here, I always talk about the journey and the destination. The journey is where we learn and where we grow. The destination is where we celebrate. I do believe we always got to have a time to celebrate, pop those bottles, have a good time. I believe in that. Because so many times we just go through the journey and we don't get that fulfillment of the work that we've done. But when it's all done, we don't need to stay in the destination too long. We got to get back into that journey so we can continue to grow. So with that being said, when I have women on, I bow to them. When I have men, I salute you. So I salute you. And with that being said, I always give my guests the last word. So I'm going to give it to you, Marques.
No, I feel like at the end of the day, you deserve it. Even though I already gave my last, I feel like you deserve it with everything you're doing. Just the positive message that you're providing back. I feel nothing but honored and pleasure just to have the opportunity just to be on your podcast. So once again, I thank you for not only just showing up at my, the restaurant where I serve, but having a positive energy, you and everybody that you came with, and just allowing me the opportunity just to speak my truth, but to, kind of do it through you and everything that you're doing. So I appreciate it.
Oh, I so appreciate it. Thank you, Marques. And you guys, please put your hand together. And I'm going to do it like I would do it if we was out at the restaurant. For dope Marques Price.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I will see you out here in these Las Vegas streets.
Yes, ma'am. It's a pleasure.
Yes, for sure.